morning. I'm Jamie Walsh from the 117th Legislative District, and I'm here at the 109th Farm Show this week. It runs through Saturday. Amazing event every year in Pennsylvania. I know we have some snow going on right now, but if you can try to get down here at some point this week and support our agricultural industry. I'm here today with Secretary Russell Redding,
good to see you.
And came to do a brief interview I'm a new legislator.
And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And what would you, if you could get all 203 in the room together and say, these are the top 3 things that you could do to support the agricultural industry in Pennsylvania, what would they be?
Yeah, so I would start with, this is a business, right? So access to capital, access to labor, access to markets. So workforce development is a really important discussion right now, particularly with technology and its influences. We hope that folks, when they come to the farm show, make really important connections between sort of what do they see on the farms and the landscape and where those potential opportunities are. Number 2 would be around permitting. You've got to make it as easy for people to do the right thing, right? And the governor's been working at that, but there's more work to do. And then third, just from a finance standpoint, I mean, the most important thing we do at the farm level and the company level and in the larger community is try to finance and try to invest, right, and really help. So jobs and economic related issues, permitting and finance.
So with the upcoming budget that Shapiro is talking about, I heard that that he's talking about potentially a $10 million investment in agriculture over the next 10 years. Does that solve the money problem, or is that you looking for something more specific?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. So last year, in the current year we're in, fiscal year we're in, there was a new investment called the Innovation Fund that the governor proposed, the legislature supported. We hope this week to be able to announce the results of that fund. It's $10 million. We had $68 million in requests.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's everything from farm level robotics, the hardwood industry, which is represented right here at this table, to the greenhouse operations, to supply chain. So I think that's a good indication of what we were talking about. There's a lot of need there.
Yeah.
Folks want to do some good things. And by the way, that's all sort of a matching grant stuff, right? So they've got to put a lot of money on the table to do it. It doesn't solve the problem, but I think it points us in the right direction.
So 10 million is sort of a drop in the bucket.
It's a drop in the bucket.
In the whole grand scheme of things.
Yeah. But it's important in the evolution because we can do a lot of things from the research standpoint. We have a research fund as well. We could never take like the next step. If you find a good idea, you find a solution that's got some market potential, we can never invest in that at the Innovation Fund. So that was part of the driver. And then realized what the farmers and the agribusinesses were saying to us is we have to accelerate the adoption of technology.
Right.
It's in the tractors, right? It's in the feed mills, it's in the grocery stores, it's in our pockets.
Absolutely.
So that's a big part of what we focused on last year with the governor, and I'm hopeful, I'll say, that we can do it again.
Now, you talked about permitting. What kind of hurdles do you run into with permitting? And the second part of that question is the permitting, does it affect smaller farms? Does it affect medium-sized farms or large farms in any different degree, I guess?
Yeah, so it varies, right? As you can appreciate, by Constitution, we have vested land use with local governments in Pennsylvania. So it varies just at the township level and how the townships sort of approach conservation work or permitting work, water quality issues are different across the state. There are standards, but how individual townships approach it, and then counties, of course, through county conservation districts, and county governments are a big partner in that whole work. So there's a local component to this, and there's a state level permitting component. It really is size neutral. It's more about the practice, right? So what's a good example? If they are doing any type of stream crossings, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of permitting involved in that,
Right,
as you can
right.
appreciate, right? So that's a local issue, it's a county concern, it's a state issue. And in some cases, when you get into the large-scale agriculture with something called a confined animal feeding operation, or CAFO,
Yes. I'm
CAFOs
familiar.
have federal oversight.
Okay.
So federal EPA oversight that's delegated to the state of Pennsylvania, by the way, through DEP.
Okay.
But there's a good example where most projects are going to be local and state. In some cases, though, they extend to federal partners.
Okay. And you mentioned financing.
Yeah.
Where do you get your funding from when it doesn't come from state funding, state-funded grants, and so on and so forth?
Yeah. So
Any investors out there, if you're listening, pay close attention to this.
yeah, I think it's a great call, right? So part of this is, local capital. I mean, there's no substitute for access to capital in the local financing systems, right? We're fortunate in Pennsylvania to have a lot of agricultural lenders. Part of that's our history, so they're really understanding the ebbs and flows of the agricultural economy, so that's good. State has stepped in to be a really important partner and to recognize that these are businesses, they're different size, scale, needs are different in some cases, but DCED, has been a great partner to work on that. With our PA First program that was started about 20 years ago, and we continue to finance things. Each governor has made really important steps, but I think the difference with this administration, the governor, has been agriculture in the economic development strategy, right?
Right.
So it's there with energy, manufacturing, robotics, and life sciences and agriculture. It's
Right.
the fifth pillar in that. That's a really important game changer because it allows you then to sort of get into those conversations that we were talking about, finance and jobs and stuff. And then, of course, our federal Department of Agriculture has been a really big partner, right? So they have been at the farm level finance, community infrastructure, rural development infrastructure is a part of it.
How many years have you been the secretary?
As a secretary, so it's just 3 governors, 2 years in Governor Rendell, and then went to be a dean and came back with Governor Wolf and then Governor Shapiro. So to answer your question, 14 years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What are the 3 top producing crops in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Or how about this? The 3 top revenue streams for agriculture in Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So let's start right here at the table. So all the hardwoods, right? We have 16 million acres. This is over $1 billion in exports, 60,000 jobs from the PA hardwoods industry. If you walk down here a little ways, you'll see mushrooms. Number 1 cash crop in Pennsylvania are mushrooms. We grow 70% of the fresh white mushrooms in the country in 2 counties. And then third would be dairy, right? So you see the butter sculpture made out of butter, right? It's a big deal. And then we've got this competition for poultry and depending how you want to count and what you look at, but you're talking about really powerhouse commodities.
Well, I learned a lot there because I had asked that question to several people, and no one really had the full answer. So it's nice to get it right from you.
It's good.
And if people are going to come down here to this event, you're open till Saturday.
Open till Saturday, all the way through to about 4 o'clock on Saturday. So every day, even with the snow outside, we'll have a decent crowd here. The weekend, by the way, was crazy. Everybody was here Saturday, Sunday. I think they were anticipating the snow. But yeah, all the way through to Saturday.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what you do. And if you need anything over the next couple of years, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. I mean, you've got a great county, Power County. Love the fairs, love what you do in the dairy and all the direct market activity up there. So yeah, we'll have fun.
I live on my family farm.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
It's not a family farm anymore, but back in the day, my family had a several hundred-acre farm out in Sweet Valley, and eventually it got sold off. You know how that happens over time, and we need to preserve that farmland because
it's a big part of the conversation. How do you do that? And it's been the pressures have accelerated, right? Single family housing,
Yeah.
warehousing, solar farms. There's a lot of pressure on good land. So look forward to working with you.
Yeah, thank
Okay?
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Real
it.
pleasure. Thank you.